Hello and welcome. My name is Julie Nolan. I'm the Assistant State Director and the Mat-Su Regional Director for the Alaska Small Business Development Center. This presentation was made possible by generous support from Wells Fargo Bank and 360 North. The Alaska Small Business Development Center is funded in part by a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration. The Alaska Small Business Development Center segments the stages of the small business life cycle into 5 different stages: think, launch, grow, reinvent, and exit. So the think stage is before you've started your business and you're still thinking about it. The launch phase is what we're focusing on today. This is generally your first couple years in business. The grow phase is once you've been in business for a little while and now you're looking to increase your sales and volume. The reinvent stage is once you have an opportunity to make some significant changes in your business and shift gears a little bit. And then we move into exit. This is when you're ready to make the transition out of your business. Today we're focusing on the launch phase of the small business life cycle. This is part 2 of a 5-part series that will dig deeper into each of the 5 stages of the small business life cycle. At the bottom of some of our slides, you'll notice some icons. These icons represent more information available at our website, aksbdc.org. Throughout this presentation today, we'll be covering the following topics: reaching your customers, managing your business, your daily operations, funding, and finally, the business plan. Without customers, you're not going to be in business very long. So, how do we effectively reach those customers, and what is the message that we want to send to them? Marketing can be tricky and it can be expensive. So it's important to do a little bit of work on the front end of figuring out your marketing plan before investing a lot of extra time and money. So you've been in business for a little while now, and now it's time to really refine your marketing. And we do that by trying to target your profile your target market. You do this by trying to figure out the demographics of that target market, their age range, their sex, their specific interests, and maybe some other factors as well, to really figure out how to reach those people that you want to do business with. So once you know who you're trying to target, now it's time to figure out how you're going to reach those people. And time to develop that budget to figure out how much it's going to cost you. Will you have a pre-opening budget? Will you have a grand opening marketing campaign? And what do you think you can afford to spend on a monthly budget on your marketing and advertising? So now that you have figured out who your target market is, how you think you might reach those potential customers, now let's look at some of your potential marketing options. So again, there's lots of ways you can spend time and money trying to reach your customers. So here's a short list of some of the more popular marketing ideas today. We have social media, TV, radio, newspapers, trade shows, sponsorships, local coupon books, and possibly some vehicle wraps. So let's take a look at a couple of these. Today, social media is so very important because it's everywhere. We've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and a whole variety of other social media outlets. Social media can be a really great marketing opportunity because you can do that for free sometimes. There are paid ads available on a lot of the social media avenues, but you can also really utilize social media very effectively for little or no cost at all. When it comes to some of the more traditional marketing, like TV, radio, and newspapers, it's important and a really good idea to figure out exactly which stations you're going to focus on, what their readership or listenership is, and what their circulation is. And of course, also what their demographics are. So if you're trying to advertise on a country music station, but you're not trying to reach country music enthusiasts, there's a clear disconnect there. So do your research ahead of time. And don't just think that radio, as a blanket marketing opportunity is enough. When you're looking at radio, you want to think about all of the options available. Are you going to provide 30-second spots, 60-second spots? Are you going to have your ads running during drive time? Are you going to have your ads running in the middle of the night? All of this will have a factor on how much it's going to cost you to do that radio advertising. And again, it can be very expensive. So do your homework ahead of time to help you refine your marketing budget. Trade shows can be a great marketing opportunity if you're targeting the right customers. So if you have a product or service that focuses on health and well-being, then maybe doing some of the women's shows or the health fairs would be a great idea. If you have a product that is geared towards outdoor enthusiasts, you may want to do a winter recreation show or a sportsman show. There are trade shows for just about every segment of your market, so honing in on those and figuring out who those people are can be very important. Sponsorships, that's a great way to connect with your community. It can be something as simple as sponsoring a local softball team, getting your name out there, putting your name on the back of their jerseys or your logo, having your logo at a banner at the ball field. That's getting your name out and getting the community familiar with you and telling your community that you support those local activities. Vehicle wraps. This is kind of a new thing that we've seen pop up in the last few years. The vehicle wraps are those fun, colorful, bright advertisements. They're basically moving advertisements. You turn your entire vehicle into an advertisement. That can get costly, but you could do something much more inexpensive by having a vehicle magnet. Those can be very inexpensive and they're removable. So when you don't want to be driving around and advertising your business, you can simply remove that magnet. And then coupon books. In most communities, big and small, have local books with coupons and advertisements. This can be helpful, especially for startup businesses that are trying to generate some new customers. So again, that's just a short list of some of the marketing opportunities out there. But basically, by doing all of this homework in advance and figuring out who your perfect customer is, both primary and secondary, how you think you're going to reach them, what it's going to cost to reach them, you've basically put together a marketing plan. These are all strategies that can build on one another to determine your plan. And your marketing plan can be part of your business plan, or it can be a standalone document used specifically for just the marketing aspects of your business. Again, it does take some time to build up your client base, so don't expect to see your numbers increase overnight. But with any marketing, it's always a good idea to try to track your referrals, and that allows you to track the return on your investment by simply asking your customers, how'd you hear about me? That gives you the information of how they heard about you. Maybe it was a web ad, maybe it was a Facebook post, maybe it was that sponsorship of the local softball team. That helps you plan for your future marketing efforts, and it tells you what worked and what didn't work. Especially in that launch stage of your business when you haven't been in business very long, it takes a little bit of trial and error to figure out what's going to work, and once you figure out what works, stick with it. So next we're going to shift gears a little bit and look at the overall business management. So now that your business is open, it's time to get rolling. And maybe you've done that by flying by the seat of your pants, and maybe you've done it with a little bit more homework and research. In any case, now is always a good time to get the house in order and make sure that you're managing your business effectively and efficiently from the get-go. It really will help to build the foundation for the future success of your business. Regulatory and compliance issues, these are things that you may have determined through writing the business plan when you first started your business, maybe, maybe not. At our website, we do have a checklist for starting a business that can help you determine whether or not you have hit on all of the necessary licensing and regulatory issues that may be affecting your specific business. Managing the daily operations, this takes a little bit of practice, something that you have to do for a while to really get it figured out and really dial in what all of your daily operations will be. It can take some time, like I mentioned, but I always recommend that you put it on paper, put it into a plan, and get the groundwork started to help ensure that you're moving in the right direction moving forward. With your business now moving up and running, it may take off, it may start to grow quickly. So by putting all of that information on paper, it will help you and your potential staff move in the right direction. So there may come a time to start thinking about hiring your first employee. Employees can be a great benefit for your business, but let's face it, employees are expensive and they can be pretty risky. So do your homework. Make sure that your business is capable of supporting your employees with the sales that you're going to need to pay for them. But in addition to that, there are some specific steps that you need to take when considering hiring your first employee or when you're ready to hire that first employee. So let's take a look at those. Okay, first of all, you have to get an EIN. This is your federal tax ID number, and you obtain this at the irs.gov. It's free, it takes 5 minutes, but it is required when you go to hire your first employee. Also, workman's comp insurance. It's not optional, you have to have it. It can be expensive, but like I said, it's not optional. So contact your insurance provider and start getting some quotes on workman's comp insurance. Keep in mind, you don't need workman's comp if you're an owner-operator, but as soon as you hire that first employee, you do have to have workman's comp in place. There is also some paperwork that needs to be filed with both the state of Alaska and the IRS. You want to do this on time and get everything set up before you have your first employees in place. Another helpful tool is through the Department of Labor at the state of Alaska. They offer a class, it's called Wage and Hour, and they offer it on a monthly basis. This class is really helpful because it helps you understand what your obligations and responsibilities are as an employer. Again, at our website, we have a tool called Hiring Your First Employee, and you can download it through aksbdc.org. So now let's look at your day-to-day operations. Having a good operations plan in place is crucial to the success of your business, just like the business management steps we talked about a few minutes ago. So one important thing to think about is your distribution strategy. How are you going to get your products and or services to market? How are you going to put your products in the hands of the customers? You need some distribution. So by contacting potential distributors, it will help you figure out what your best bets are and what your best options are for getting your products on the shelves. Also, we need to look at your infrastructure needs. When you started your business, you may have thought you could get away with just bare bones equipment and other necessary tools. But now that you're running your business, have things changed? Do you need a little bit more help? Do you need to purchase a few more assets? If so, how are you going to pay for them? So the first step is figuring out what you need, and is that going to be enough to get you through your next growth phase? Or are you better off maybe purchasing a little bit more or bigger or better to think about the future of your business? We also look at the policies and procedures of your business. Again, this is somewhat similar to that business management structure we talked about a few minutes ago. By having good policies and procedures in place, it can be just such a helpful tool for yourself, some potential partners or investors, and for your staff or potential staff that you may be bringing into the business. As you develop new policies, as you encounter issues, and you develop solutions to those issues, put them on paper. Get it written down so that the next time this similar situation arises, you have a guideline to follow to keep you on the right track. Then we have job descriptions. We just talked about hiring your first employee. Well, before you get ready to hire your employee, you really want to think about putting together a good job description. This is going to keep your employees on track and help them understand what's expected of them. This is all very helpful information in the overall operations of your business. So let's talk funding. Financials are the most important part of any business, so it's really important to plan properly. There's a lot of factors that are involved in your operating budget. We have a tool available at our website. It's called the Financial Model. You can download that at aksbdc.org. This financial model helps you determine your monthly budgets, your potential or estimated salaries, your break-even point, and lots of other things. It's an incredibly helpful tool both in the think and the launch phases of your business. Helps you figure out what it's going to cost to operate your business. So you may reach a point in your business where you're looking for some financing. Maybe you were able to start your business without borrowing money, but now the time may come where it is time to think about getting over the hump. Every business has some seasonality, especially here in Alaska. So you always want to think about how that seasonality will affect your business. Certain industries are affected much more by seasonality than others. So for example, a construction company. Construction businesses are a lot busier in the summertime, and they do a lot of accounts receivable, which means they're not collecting a check the day the job is done. So they're waiting to collect their money from the job they just finished, and they have another job starting. They have to go out and purchase all the lumber and materials. So how are we going to get over that hump while we're waiting for the cash flow to catch up? Maybe you're going to go to the bank and look for some financing or a line of credit. In the banking world, they have a term called the 5 C's of credit. This is what makes up a well-rounded borrower in the eyes of the banker. The 5 C's include character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. So character, that's who you are. Your experience, your training, your education in the field. This is proving to the bank that you are the best possible person to run your business. Then we have capacity. This is how you anticipate being able to repay your loan, and your business plan financials will clearly spell this out. Capital, this is your down payment towards that loan. Almost every loan requires some amount of cash down in order to finance a loan. Collateral are the assets that you may be able to use in addition to the cash to secure that loan. And then we have conditions. These are the market, the rates, the interest, what's going on in the market and in your industry. So this combination of the 5 C's, this is really what the bank's looking for in a well-rounded borrower. Getting a handle on your profit margin and your break-even points are really important. Understanding your break-even is vital because it helps you determine how much you have to earn to pay the bills. The goal is never to reach break-even. The goal is to far exceed break-even so that the business is generating a profit. We all go into business to make some money, and so we have to understand that break-even point. And then profit margins. Of course, profit margins are also important because it helps us determine what our cost or what our sales price will be. If we know what our break-even point is, then we have to figure out what we're going to charge so that we can effectively reach our break-even while still being competitive in the marketplace. And finally, let's talk about the business plan. Some people think they only need a business plan when they're starting their business. And while that is helpful in the think stage of your business, really, a business plan can be done at any stage in the business. It's never too late to work on a business plan. A business plan is the roadmap for the future success of your business. There are 2 primary sections of a business plan. There's the financials and the narrative. So the financials are the most important part. We always start with the numbers because the numbers don't lie. If the numbers pencil out, then go ahead and write the narrative. If the numbers don't pencil out, go back to the drawing board, figure out how you can increase your sales, decrease your expenses, and come up with that break-even point, or better yet, exceed break-even and start making a profit. Then we move into the narrative section of the business plan, which is basically your plan that you're going to put in action to back up what you say you're doing in the financials. The 2 pieces of the business plan do go hand in hand, the financials and the narrative. And if the time does come that you need a bank loan, most likely that business plan is going to be a requirement in getting the loan. So today we've discussed several important topics regarding the launch stage of your business. Again, this is part 2 of a 5-part series that will dig deeper into each of the 5 stages of the small business life cycle. I wish you the best of luck in running your small business. Please remember to visit our website for more information, for tool downloads, and to see all of the workshops that we have available. aksbdc.org. And again, this presentation was made possible by generous support from Wells Fargo Bank and 360 North.